Hello and welcome to the Wednesday edition of The Box Seat. I'm Mark Warwood. Just the 7 races at Ascot on Wednesday. We're expecting a sunny day, 29 degrees Celsius. The track to be a good 4 and the rail, it will be at the 11 metre position. Race number 1 at Ascot on Wednesday will jump at 1:52. It's the Ascend Sales Trophies handicap over 2,200 metres. And in replay, let's have a look at the last start of Mekong Den.
Quiet Whisper, Mekong Den making its move, followed by Frosty Heart, Lennon Song pushing into the clear behind those. Demi-Go Round went to the lead, 250 from home though from Mekong Den. They're a length and a half clear of Lennon Song, who's grinding. Mekong Den ranged up to Demi-Go Round when they go past the 100. Crossley Hot Shots made up a lot of ground back inside of them. Mekong Den's in front from Crossley Hot Shot, driving through. They split the line. Crossley Hot.
A very tough race to kick off the Ascot card on Wednesday. Going with the top one here, Mekong Den. Her connections lodged an unsuccessful protest after the replay race. Was beaten in a short half head by Crossley Hot Shot. That horse ran in a 66 plus on Saturday. Did let the form down somewhat, only beat one home. I don't think there's a great deal of speed in this race, and therefore I think Mekong Den, whose only win was in a slowly run 1,600 metre race where she sprinted better than the rest, is a chance here. Did beat Frosty Heart, who's another horse in this race, in the replay by nearly 4 lengths. Goes on top, not a great deal of confidence though. Number 4, Under the Arches, comes out of maiden grade at Pinjarra, was a length and a quarter up behind Barbie Will Do. Had the second fastest sectionals all the way home in that race. Comes back to Ascot, was beaten 7.5 lengths last time she went round here, but this is not a strong race. And even though she's a maiden going around in a Class 1, I think she's a chance. Frosty Heart didn't settle too close to the speed last start for Ryan Hill. Expect her to be a little bit closer again this time out. Could certainly get a lot closer to Mekong Den. And then another horse down the bottom who's only won over a short trip, 1,000 metres. That's Glen Albin, 45 starts, just the 1 win. Did over race last start. That was over 22.38 metres at Bunbury. That was the first time that horse had been beyond 1,720. If Glen Albin can settle better here and it turns into a bit of a sit and sprint, could certainly see it making its presence felt. Top selection in race number 1, going with number 1, Mekong Den, to beat 4 Under the Arches, 2 Frosty Heart and 6 Glen Albin. Race number 2 at Ascot on Wednesday will jump at 2:27. It's the off-the-track supporting retired WA racehorses handicap over 1,200 metres. It's for the 3-year-olds. One of those 3-year-olds is Gillespie. Let's have a look at his last start win.
As they came around the bend, Zonzol's got up towards the rail as Gillespie reaches the lead. Down to the 250 and Gillespie accelerates away a length and a half to Cockatiel. Further back on the outside is Tradement running on, but Gillespie goes to the 100 clear from Cockatiel. Explosion, getting a run through between horses, but this is in no danger, Gillespie, and Gillespie came away, won it well.
There's 4 last start winners accepted for this race on Wednesday. They're my top 4. I'm going to start with number 2, Gillespie. He beat the older gallopers in the replay race. That was a maiden down at Bunbury. That was only his 2nd start. And if you go through his pedigree page, his full brother Ambiente is a sprinter well above this level. Ambiente with Listremple as well. I think he's certainly a 78 plus horse, maybe even a listed galloper. If Gillespie's got anything like that type of ability, 3rd run of its career, should be going very close on Wednesday. Goes on top from number 7, Carhelion here for Ross Price and William Pike. It was the fastest last 200s to win last start. That was also in all-age maiden grade at Bunbury, beating Texas Moon, who subsequently franked the form. I like the fact that Pikey sticks here, having ridden it last start. Chris Parnham rode it on its debut. Number 3, Position of Power, gets barrier number 1 here. Was wide 2 starts ago and then sat close to the speed last time out in a 3-year-old maiden at Pinjarra Park. Got the job done, but only had the 3rd fastest last 200 in that race. And then number 6, Admiration Street. Won on debut at Northern in a 3-year-old maiden as well, beaten Point Taken, who we'll see later on the card. Had the fastest sectionals in that race as well. And Kate Wynn keeps the ride and she can claim down to 54 kilos. Top selection in race number 2, going with number 2, Gillespie, to beat 7, Carhelion, 3, Position of Power and 6, Admiration Street. Race number 3 at Ascot on Wednesday will jump at 3:04. It's the Tab Touch Better Your Bet maiden over 1,100 metres. In replay, let's have a look at the runner-up finish of Point Taken.
Last is ATM in the straight. 400 metres left to go. Vina Waltz moves up strongly. All That Scissor was put under pressure. Point Taken's trying to pick up Vina Waltz. Vina Waltz in front. Carberry draws the whip. He wanted to duck in across to All That Sizzle. On the outside is Point Taken, and Admiration Street is running on right down the outside. Point Taken hit the front. Admiration Street after Point Taken. Admiration Street finishing the better. A big drift.
Point Taken's first run in a maiden race was what we just saw in replay, and she only got beaten at a short neck. She was the fastest from the 600 to the 4 and also from the 4 to the 2, and then she just faded a little bit over the last 200 metres. She beat all bar Admiration Street, who we'll see in the second race. She stays in maiden grade here, gets a central gate. I'm thinking what is a pretty winnable race, she is the one to beat. Goes on top from number 12, Flower of War. Has won a couple of trials with Ben Patterson in the saddle. Ben keeps the ride on Wednesday for Simon Miller. Certainly comes from the right yard. None of his siblings have raced yet, but I do think it's quite significant that Busselton Racing down in Victoria, previously from New Zealand, they paid $130,000 for the Blackfriars half-brother of this horse at the Caracas sales earlier this year. Number 2, Asymmetric, represents Justine Erkland, and she's got a tremendous strike rate. This horse has had 2 starts for the 2 minor placings. Does get one of the outside gates here, but I do like the horse back to the 1100 metres. And then number 7, Friars Classic, gets the inside gate for the Parnhams, Neville and Chris. Over-raced first up over the 1208, and then was a lot better second up over the 1000. Splits the distance on Wednesday and goes to the 11. Top selection in race number 3, going with number 10, Point Taken, to beat 12, Flower of War, 2, Asymmetric and 7, Friars Classic. Race number 4 at Ascot on Wednesday will jump at 3:40. It is the Hahn Super Dry Handicap over 1500 metres. In replay, let's have a look at the last start performance of Seeking Alpha.
Taro led them for the judge. A length and a half, Metallic Bell. Down on the inside is Caranulas. And then Seeking Alpha, Trade Prize, Pixated, beginning to make up some ground. Love Always looking for a run in behind them. It's Pixated, ranging up with 150 to go. Metallic Bell kicking back Quintaro. It's Pixated, Quintaro, Pixated. Pixated got the head in front. Pixated wins it.
All of my top 4 selections in this race come out of the replay at Pinjarra. Going with number 4 here, Seeking Alpha. It's a half to drift star. It's having its first WA preparation with Lindsay Smith, previously with Trent Busselton and Natalie Young in Victoria. One I thought was a pretty weak maiden at Cranbourne last preparations. Had 2 runs for Lindsay. Fractious first up was without a trial, and then over-raced last time out in the replay race, beaten a length and a quarter. I think the Cranbourne race that it won is no stronger, or no weaker rather, than the race it lands in on Wednesday at Ascot, and Seeking Alpha goes on top. From number 1, Summit Trail has got a horrible gate here. 13 before scratchings, will come into at least number 12 with Make Mine Champers out as well. Has led 9 of its 17 starts, including 4 of its last 6. Was slow away last time out, but did come home with the fastest sectionals to be behind Seeking Alpha, but ahead of a couple of others in this race. If it wasn't for the gate, Summit Trail would have gone on top. Number 13, Silver Zapato, is 5th up in his first preparation for John Botel. His daughter Shelby takes the ride. The bars have been off this preparation, was really good first up at very long odds. Has not been so good subsequent to that, but if it could recapture the form of its first up run behind Unicat, would be in this up to its neck. And then number 2, Trade Prize, has had excuses 2 starts ago and 3 starts ago. There wasn't too many excuses last start, but it was the fastest from the 4 to the 2. That was over the 1409 in the replay. Steps up to the 1500 for the first time in his career. Top selection in race number 4, going with number 4, Seeking Alpha, to beat 1, Summit Trail, 13, Silver Zabato and 2, Trade Prize.